Hello there, folks, and welcome to the stream. My name is Mike D'Angelo, aka That Tellest Guy. We are here today. It's been close to a week since we were working on any maps. I took last Wednesday off just to focus on some other stuff. I've been doing some map stuff kind of clandestinely, we'll say. Incarnate is doing a contest right now for like a very specific kind of battle map, and I've been working on that, and it's been a lot of work. I might give you a little tiny preview for it, but it's still going on for another like 5 days, and I probably need all 5 of those days to kind of fine tune it. What we're going to be looking at today are 2 kind of foresty maps. One of them is part of our actual forest zone. It's the 6th map there, which gets us to our final like 2x3 size that we were originally looking for. We're going to go beyond that eventually, but 2x3 was the original kind of plan for what to do with these maps, because that makes some other special projects that we're working on possible in some very cool ways. So at this point, and as part of the Kickstarter campaign that we are running, we're going to be working on trying to get this kind of stuff going. We're trying to get this prepared, and we'll make sure that those other zones that we're working on, so like the jungle, the mountain, the wasteland, we'll try and get those 5th and 6th maps done if they're not already done, because that, like I said, it'll help us get ready for something big a little bit further down the line. We're returning to our wishing well map here. We've got a little bit of work that we did over the week, and we'll take a really quick closer look at kind of our points of interest, and then we're going to work on cleaning it up a little bit more and getting ready to hit that map completed button. So the wishing well itself is obviously the first piece. We're going to kind of keep that tight. We're not going to change too much here. Did notice that this feels a little off, so let's switch that around a smidge. And then we've got our second point of interest that we worked on was kind of like this fairy staircase thing. So these are all mushrooms. My interpretation of how other people have felt about this is not really great, so we're going to change the colors just a smidge, so that it doesn't just look like bushes or whatever that are, getting bigger as they go. So we're going to keep messing with the color schemes a little bit until we find something that we like. I want these to look like magical mushrooms of some sort, and I think this one's okay. We'll keep this one looking green. Oop, that's the butterfly herself. I don't really want to change her. There we go. So we'll just make that change. It'll look a little bit different. I still don't know that it necessarily looks like mushrooms, but I'm happy with the way that looks. Our third point of interest was this down here. You can barely tell what it is. We'll zoom it in. So I made a little pan flute with the materials that we have, and then over here is our final one. I think I did this one off stream. This one is our we have plants in the Tellest universe called rainbow nettle, and they're kind of like the gimpy plant, which is just like the most painful plant to get touched by. It's, I think, also sometimes called the suicide plant because it makes you want to kill yourself. So in this case, we've got this poor fella who, I guess, was starting to look down here, rolled down, hit a couple of these things, dropped his bag of potions, and just can't for the life of him be, he can't crawl over here and do anything about it because it's just too painful. So those are our 4 point of interests. We're going to do a little bit more flocking on this map, so let's go and get some stones. Let's see. Orange is the opposite of blue. Make the mushroom shades of orange for the blue butterfly and the watery bit to pop. So that's why it's good to have an artist wife in the house. So you think kind of like this color here? This 31. Should they all be the same? Oh, that's rude. I almost got dinged for that. So I was going to say Should they all be the same color, or should this one be kind of brighter like I have it? Should I make them like varying shades of orange, maybe a little bit of red, or should it be pretty, you know, pretty consistent? What do you think? Stones. Stone. Alright, we got the small rocks. Yeah, varying shades of orange and red. The bright orange looks great for that top one. Or should it all be that bright one? Try and look for some more red. Like, that one's good. That looks good. Okay, keep it like that. Make it like the one that she's on is kind of like a little bit more enchanted. So that looks cool. And let's... I didn't do anything with the stones. We need those stones. So we're going to grab these. I feel like 30. Oop, it would help if my numlock wasn't on. 30 is a nice size for these. We want to make sure that they're caught in the shade. That right along the water's edge as well. A couple next to the well as well. I want to put a couple of them down here. Artist approved. That's wonderful. Put these in a couple of other places. I don't want to cover up those satyr tracks. So let's take a look at that real quick. Pretty good to start with. Let's see if we can't get a couple more things like in the center here. We can pop a little bit more. Let's do a smaller plant over here. And despite the fact that it's right over here next to the well, like that, a little bit dried out. We'll do one more over here as well. Do one more fern over here. A little bit there. Looks kind of drab, but that's okay. What do you think, Rihanna? Do we need anything else in here? Or is the kind of clearing, does that look nice? And then we can call this one. I kind of think it looks nice. I don't think that every map needs tons and tons of stuff. Alrighty, we are going to do the thing. And nothing. Man, it's just... It is a thing where you just never really know if it's going to work. Let's do... But the music isn't going to hit either. Son of a... Alright. This darn thing. Really? I don't have any... Oh, I know why. Because I'm not wearing my headphones. And I got the sound going through there. It's completed twice. Alright. Woohoo! Alright. Yeah, I manually did that. Yeah, it's kind of funky the way that these things are happening. Let's also throw a... Let's throw that up on the screen because the Kickstarter previews are officially live, so we can start putting some attention on that. That is coming out in just 2 weeks. 2 Tuesdays from now. We've got that all together. So this map is one of the extra maps that we'll have on the back end of... Ooh, it would help if I saved. It's going to be one of the ones that's on... It does kind of look like a mini golf course because of the little ramp over here. You made a very good point. Actually, a mini golf course would be a fantastic battle map, like set. That would be really good. Yeah, this map is going to be like part of my bonus set. Well, now I know what to do as like my 3x3 set for the Battle Maps of Tellest Volume 3. So I'm currently working on a big map. You know what? We're just gonna freaking show it. So this is the festival map that I'm working on. I won't get into the map too much, but it's based on the Renaissance Fair that Rhiannon and I went to. So there's a place in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, where we went to the Renaissance Fair called the Moravian Tile Works, and it's based, well, it's a castle basically that has it's really a factory. It was a pottery and tile factory that is one of like 3 like big locations that's in that area of the city that still has, you know, like all its foundation. It's a poured concrete foundation. So it's that, a castle called Fonthill Castle, and one other, the Mercer Museum, I think it's called. So the 3 of them have like this very distinct concrete look with like tons of windows and everything like that. And the troupe that we went with, they always end up going to like these places around like historical venues and stuff like that. Oh, sorry, I looked away because I wanted to see if Luna was still up here. They always go to like these historical venues, and this one fit the bill for what we were doing. So I decided to reference that in the festival that we've got going on, so you can actually see like we have a reference to our tent and everything. We've got our tent is green and blue, but we made this one green, and then we've got over here is like some of the stuff that we would sell in real life, and then just a couple of other things. And then we also decided to throw in, we needed a festival to celebrate. So in the second Bixby Aladocia story, let's see if now like none of the pictures are coming through. I have to reinstall Stream Deck, but I can throw his picture up here, I think. So Bixby is one of the goof characters that we made who's just taken on a life of his own. He's a lot of fun. The second short story that he's involved in is called Bixby Aladocious, the Ancestor Festival. So the Ancestor Festival is what we're exploring here. So it's a lot of like death, but like a celebration of death instead of, you know, like, oh, death is this crazy sad thing. So you'll see like a lot of skulls. We've got some skull motifs here. There's like skulls here and at the entrance to the festivals. The Ferris wheel has like a skull at the like the end of the pole that like locks the Ferris wheel in place. So it is very much like, hey, let's kind of embrace Halloween and the Renaissance Fair kind of put together. So it's been a lot of fun so far. Like I said, I have another 5 days to wrap this up. It's a pretty big map. It's the biggest map that thus far that I've made. I'm working on a 3x3 for our personal D&D campaign, but this one's got a lot more work on it. And it helped to be able to say, like, all right, I know kind of a way to represent it. A lot different than the way that it was at the Renaissance Fair. There's certainly not like all these trees down here. It was just open to the road and everything like that. They put a fence up. The Ferris wheel was based on like a vendor who had a wheel that was like a giant hamster wheel for people to run on, and it would make shaved ice for them. So just taking what we got and running with it. So that is going to be potentially another bonus map for the Kickstarter. If we can get there, we'll see. The next map that we're going to be working on is this sequel to our Cefen'adiel Dam map. Let's see. Brianna said, with a campaign to get a magic orb that can't be touched by anything other than an iron club or something. I love that idea of doing like a mini golf course. There is like one of my favorite games of all time it hasn't aged as gracefully as I would have liked, because just quality of life things have made it load really slow and things like that. But it's a game called Dark Cloud 2, and I think Rhiannon might have seen me play it here and there. So it's an action adventure game. You get to be a lot of different characters. You get to like tinker and stuff like that, and upgrade your weapons, and kind of build the world the way that the game kind of wants, instead of making it the way that you want to play with it. But in any case, one of the extra modes that they introduce is called Sfida, where you're using like makeshift golf clubs to send a sphere through portals. That it's very much like fantasy golf. So I really do enjoy that notion, and I think that we could probably do something like that in the Tellest universe. I think we had previously thought about like doing it with like frisbee golf instead, and making it like Bolt's Chakram or something like that, but we'll have to play with that and see. So this is going to be a pretty easy map to put together. It is the camp that the Gnolls are living in. They're the ones that made the dam. So a lot of what they've done here is they've made like a palisade for themselves based off of, you know, the stuff that they chopped down. We'll probably have a couple more stumps and things here and there to show that that has happened. And then we're going to have a lot of tents. It's going to be super easy. We might even finish it on this stream. So let's go into our tents. Let's go use one of our big tents. So this is going to be our chieftain's tent. That might still be a little too big, so let's dial it back to 20. Just your typical little boss fight tent. Maybe something like right there. It's pretty nice. Actually see. Yep, it's a pretty good fit. I don't think that I need anything from this map anymore. But it's actually kind of nice to be able to like grab certain things over here to keep things looking consistent. So we're not going to have any of this stuff in the camp, but we can have it outside of it. Put something like there. And the nice thing about kind of moving this off the map is that you'd also be able to see, if we move this down, you'd be able to see that piece as well. Let's get these bushes and everything over here, because this side was not chopped down. But just about everything over on this side would have been. I figure what we'll do before we get off the stream is we'll take another look at the Kickstarter, because we're getting close to launching that, and I want everybody to see what that looks like. Okay, let's do some other tents. Didn't really have to put that in there. Got these small tents that I probably won't use. Actually, the leather tents aren't a bad fit. That fur hide tent isn't terrible either. Okay, so we'll do 270. So that over there is the entrance. And I'll do a couple of these simple ones. Let's dial them down just a little bit. Kind of want them to face outward. Let's see if we can't change the color scheme of this one to look a little bit different. Say that that's like the shaman's tent. see what else. So we have the little scout towers. There's nothing too crazy about that. I'm not going to put like any like siege weapons or anything on there. I just realized too, we've changed the inside of this camp for better or worse. Tell you what, we're going to dial that back just a little bit. So right now the texture scale is 100, it was 50. Let's meet in the middle. In here. Actually, like all over this side. And that way, when it does come time to do sequel maps above and below, we can help it look a little bit more streamlined. Okay, and all right, we got a bunch of tents. Let's take a save real quick and we'll take a look at that Kickstarter. If you do want to sign up for our newsletter just to make sure that you'd be able to see the Kickstarter when it goes live and get the day one backer stuff, this is a great way to do it. You can just use that page that you were just on to sign up for our newsletter. And then here is our quick and dirty preview, perhaps. If the darn thing didn't want to fight with me. Which it evidently does. Her. Don't mind me. This shouldn't ask you to log in. I think it's just doing it for me because it wants to be a pain. Head back in real quick. So as you can see, we're trying to put a little bit of emphasis on the day one backers. Anytime we get another 25 backers on day one, we're going to add 5 maps to the pack. We've got some examples that we have. If you've been on this channel, you've seen all these maps. There's a couple of things that we've got done that we haven't shown off on stream, but they are on like Drive-Thru RPG and Patreon and stuff like that, because we aren't trying to keep these maps away from people. What we're trying to do is make it more affordable for people as part of the Kickstarter. This will be the cheapest price that you can get by far, and after the campaign is done, we're not going to do like late pledges or anything. It'll be, you get it for whatever price we have it on sale at Drive-Thru RPG and Patreon and stuff like that. So we already have the stretch goals planned. We're not trying to be secretive about what our plans are. If we manage to get to the 2200 mark, which would be higher than we got last time, we will make additional stretch goal maps, because we do have additional plans should we get that high. Last time we hit 1900, so I think that is pretty achievable, and I think with all the extra maps and content that we have this time, I think that's more than doable. I think the thing that's really going to help us out is we have a lot of add-ons this time. So anyone who missed the bonus maps from the original set, they can get these now. Anyone who missed the entire first campaign, they can add the entire set to their rewards. We also have physical maps for the first time on Kickstarter. We'll be showing off a little bit more of that when the campaign goes live. We've got the fantasy writing prompts book and ebook. We've got our children's book. We've got the Tellest Pros Mega Pack, our art book, our tabletop game, just a whole bunch of stuff. And that's pretty much it. We're trying to keep it pretty tight. So hope you enjoyed seeing that. Let's head back to the map. Of course, the entire time that I'm working on that, I didn't have much going on through my head, except for any of that. So let's see, we've got the camp, gear and shelter. So let's look at cooking fire. I don't think that we need like a campfire stack, but a cooking fire wouldn't be a bad idea. What we can do, let's shrink this down. Okay, 20 by 40, and then this will help us with the sizing of the stamps and stuff. You go, girl, Luna. You go, puppy. All right, there we go. That looks much better. Let's do a save real quick. Cefen'adiel Gnoll Camp is the name. Should save a little bit quicker because it's not twice the size anymore. Alright, so let's get that cooking fire in there. And 30 is a happy number, not 320. 30. Actually, we can even stand to make it a little bit bigger. So let's put it right in the middle of the camp. Right in the middle of all these folks. And let's do some logs. These ones are okay. Let's make it 30. And we'll actually stretch these ones out a little bit. I don't want to make it bigger, I want to make it stretched, so we're going to change it to the height a little bit. It would help if we were randomizing some of them. It does look like we are. I want something like that. And I think the first one we have two of already. There you go. That one, the knot is facing out, so we'll face this one in. Okay, so we've got a couple of things. We've got the towers. I'm just realizing that this tower is a little bit further out, so let's scooch that in a little bit. There we go. Much nicer. We've got the chieftain's tent. Actually, what we can do is kind of shift that a little bit so it won't be dead center anymore. And we've got the tents over here. And we can add another one up there too. See, I can't make that one look a little bit grayer. Just quick. Something like that, and let's put some training dummies out here for them. these gnolls like to do is fight stuff. This one right up against the tower. Some archery targets on the bottom. We definitely have to do a different variety so I can see that at least someone's competent. Siege arrows. We can show somebody's not quite powerful enough and they're hitting the ground. That one's just inaccurate. This one's further back. This one's just got terrible aim. So he's hitting the wall and stuff. Only one of these guys is any good. Likely harasser, restricted. Oh, that's good. Alright, we're going to cut things a little bit short today because I do have an editing project that I'm working on for a client. So, let's head over to our show closing page. So folks, on the screen right now, you should see all the places that you can find Tellest out there on the internet. Tellest.com is a great first place to start. It'll usually bring you to our other projects. I really need to put a sidebar ad for Maps to Tellest Volume 2, but you can easily get to that by going to Tellest.com/Kickstarter. We have 3 premium sites up right now that you can go to. Patreon.com/Tellest is where you can get digital versions of our maps. We try to do something battle map related every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I think at this point we're over 100 maps on Patreon because of bonus maps from Volume 1 and just all that kind of stuff. Tellest.etsy.com is where you can get physical versions of the maps. They are just these beautiful 18 by 36 game pads that look great on a table. You can use them as just like a computer desk pad long after you're done using it in your campaign. We also have stickers, bookmarks, our art book, Rihanna's Magic Wands, all that cool stuff on Etsy as well. If you want to go to a more storied institution like Drive-Thru RPG, you can go there directly to our publisher page by going to battlemapfantasy.com. That'll be a great place for you to see all of our stuff at once. We have a couple of TikTok channels for you to find. TikTok.com/@WeirdWitchWands is where you can go to find Rihanna's Magic Wands. She's going to put, I'm guessing, a couple more things up there soon because she's got some things that she's developing for Witchtober Market, which we've got 25 days from now. So it'll be cool for her to show those off. We've also got the most popular people in our family who are our puppies. TikTok.com/@TillsOfTellest is where you can find them. Luna's very popular lately, so definitely give her a look. The last 2 places that I'll bring your attention to, youtube.com/@WorldOfTellest is where you're going to be able to find all these videos after we're off of the Twitch platform for these videos, however long that lasts. But twitch.tv/ThatTellestGuy is the only place that you can come and chat with us live. Let us know that things aren't working as expected. Get your quest coins. Tell me to overhydrate until I'm blue in the face. All that good stuff. But that is going to wrap us up for tonight. It was a fun return trip to all of this, and I appreciate you for joining me. And until tomorrow, I miss you.